Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Miami Book Hub, Miami's home for readers, writers, and resources. I'm your host, Adrian Betancourt, urban planner by day, author and explorer of everything by night. It's a pleasure to have you back here. This is now episode 8 of our little podcast, and apparently that's a lucky number for my guest, so I'll let him explain why. Speaking of my guest, I want to welcome to the program Dr. Rolando Ochoa. Dr. Ochoa, welcome.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. It's very happy to be here with you. I enjoyed watching all the previous podcasts, and you do a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, sir. And coming from you, that's high praise because you are what I call a Renaissance man.
Well, thank you.
Someone that, if you, and you'll please read his biography, has dabbled in a little bit of everything over the course of his life and done it all well and been successful. Kind of following in Thomas Jefferson's footsteps on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. But you're a fascinating guy, and our viewers will appreciate that at the end of the show. So episode 8, why is that special to you?
Well, it is very special because the number 8 has been, shall we say, pursuing me my entire life. I was born the 8th of November, and I weighed 8 pounds and a half, which is 8 pounds and 8 ounces. It was the 8th year of marriage of my parents. The lottery in Cuba that week, the number one prize was 808.
Oh.
So, and also I am married and I have 6 kids. So that makes us 8 in the family.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm sitting here with you and I just found out that this is episode
but of course,
8. So
you're forgetting one thing.
What?
Your name was Ochoa.
Ochoa, yeah,
Oh,
which is
it was meant to be.
right. I had, I used that name in a different way when I had a band.
Yeah.
And the band was called Formula, and then the number 8 and the letter A. Ochoa. And people would say, "Oh, Octava, no, Formula Ochoa."
And you have lived a life of 8 men. And we'll get into some of those 8 lives.
It shows in my hair.
Oye, tiene más que yo, and I'm a little younger, but so be proud. So you spoke briefly about singing. So you actually started life in Cuba, in La Habana, I believe.
Right.
And obviously came to the United States, and we'll talk about that journey. But you started there as a child entertainer. Is that correct?
That is correct. My parents were entertainers in Cuba for a long time. And then after struggling for many years, my father became one of the top comedians in Cuba in TV. And my mother also was working in TV in various programs. My father's program in TV was the number 1 rating program in Cuba for the last 11 years. And so then, obviously, I started thinking that would be my career also. And I got started in my father's program. And what I did was very well accepted. So I did it several times. Then I was...
Is it like a variety program? Or what?
Yeah, it's called Casino de la Alegría. It was a nightclub.
Heard of it, yeah.
Nightclub, and then they would have different numbers, musical numbers, and then they had a sketch.
Yeah, it was a Sábado Gigante of its time.
Well, they're a little different than,
slightly different.
but then, because of the success I had in the program, I was given a contract to have my own show on Sunday nights. And it was sponsored by U.S. Royal Company, which is the makers of U.S. Keds. When tennis shoes were just Keds, not like today you have $300, $400 tennis shoes. And I was the spokesperson for the Keds in Cuba.
Wow!
And I did all their ads and what have you. So I did that for a couple of years. And then until everything that happened, everybody knows, then I had to come to the United States. And
At what age?
I was 19.
19, okay.
And then, of course, after being here in South Florida for a while, I decided that I need to go to California, to Los Angeles, because that's where the opportunities are, I thought, how wrong I was, because everybody and their uncle
Right.
wanted to be there. So everybody wants to be an entertainer, not everybody, but millions of people. So I had to work for a living. So I worked in a factory over there, plastic factory, and my shift ended at 7:30 in the morning. So at that time, I would go home, shower, change, and then run to the audition. By the time I got to the audition, it was like 500 people ahead of me, because some of these people would sleep there.
Wow.
So I never even got to even close to being in the door.
Yeah.
So I did that, I would say, dozens of times, until I said,
Yeah.
no, this is not going to happen. Because
we're going to do the show in Spanglish today, by the way. I can't help myself.
Yeah,
Okay. So then you switched gears, and I understand that you got into banking and in management.
Yeah.
Spent a long career, successful career in that, correct?
Yes. I was banking for 41 years.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was a professor at Miami-Dade College.
Right.
And when I retired from banking, I went to full-time for Miami-Dade College for the last 6 years, and then I decided to retire. And at the same time, I had a band that I had for 20 years, and we played weddings and divorces.
Divorce?
No, see, I'm only kidding. I used to.
I think it's great. I think you should have a party when you do.
I used to say to the bride and the mother, which is normally who you deal with.
Yeah.
I said, well, if you want I give you the package, and if they get divorced, I give you half a price for the party. And they would look at me like, what do you mean?
I know. I can see your dad was a comedian.
Oh yeah, he was the best. I miss him so much. Yeah. He died in 2008. He died. He was 92.
Wow.
And anyway, so
long life. Okay, so you retire from banking. You're performing, at weddings and divorces and bar mitzvahs and who knows where. And then, not content to retire, you decided, I'm going to be a writer. So tell us how you transitioned into writing. What was your first book?
Well, the way I decided to start writing, I always liked to write. Even when I was younger, I used to write poems for the girls that I wanted to pick up. That was a good way to get into not even first base, but a home plate at least. So when I did my doctorate at Nova Southeastern University, I had to write a dissertation, which is like 400 pages. So that was, if you didn't do that and it was approved, you didn't graduate, no matter what your grades are. So I worked on that for about a year. So I sort of got some desires that maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
So then I decided to write my biography, which I published in 2017, and it was presented at the Miami Book Fair.
Let's see it.
And this is the book, and you see me as a young TV personality, and then you see me as an. Of course, I don't look anything like this now.
You hadn't changed a bit.
Yeah, thank you. So, and why did I decided to?
And for those who can't see clearly, it's called Cuba 18, US 50. So you have to tell us.
Yeah,
what that title means.
the idea of the title is I came in here when I was 18, and then the book covers the next 50 years.
Okay.
Because if I didn't stop somewhere, I would have, continue and never finish the book.
This
so
is true.
I had to stop, and it tells you the story of what I just told you about Cuba and my parents and how I got to the exile and the different things, and how I got into the army, because I served in the army for 2 years during Vietnam, and how I got married and how I got into banking and blah, 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 until, my kids were born, and, I have 2 girls and 4 boys. and they're all, and I have 10 grandkids.
I see you have a little post-it note there. Is there a passage you'd like to read from?
Yeah, just a little excerpt from, this is chapter 23, which is U.S. Army Part 7, and it's subtitled, "The Real Reason Why I Was Drafted." Because, you might say, well, why was I drafted? Of course, I was fortunate they never sent me to Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I stayed, and so so then this is a part where I found out that what I needed to do, and this is why God wanted me in the Army. It says, "One day, Father Evangelisto called me to his office. He related to me his concern with the level of religious preparation of the draftees from Puerto Rico. It seemed that many of them had not made their first communion, or even some, they have not been baptized. He tried to counsel them when they come to see him, but there were just too many. He wanted to know if I could assume the responsibilities to provide them with catechism classes and prepare them for the first communion and baptism. I told Father Evangelisto that I did not think I was qualified or prepared to do that, and he told me that he thought I was. And that would help me, and that he would help me. I accepted this new challenge with a lot of trepidation and asked God to help me. I also had the help of Yolanda, my wife, who was a lot more prepared in religious instructions and topics than I was. Was this the reason why I was drafted? At the time, I thought it was.
Mira. Wow.
So that's just
Good.
one episode on many things that happened to me when I was in the Army, and many things that happened to me when I was in banking. Of course, 40 years, it's a long time, and I went through different banking crises, all over the place. So,
well, and banking in Miami was a fascinating profession for many years.
Absolutely,
given
yes.
some of the things happening here.
Yeah.
By the way, so I'm assuming then that you're Catholic and that you seem
Yes,
like
I am.
a religious
Yes.
man. So you must have some interesting takes on what's happening today in the world with the Catholic Church in the United States. And so we can or can't get into that if you like. But and then also you've written a lot about Cuba. You have the Cuban experience. And
Yes.
Cuba is also very much, being discussed and whether we're finally going to topple the regime or invade. And so
Well,
being who you are with your experience, I'm curious as to what your thoughts are about the state of the world today with respect to what's happening with the church in Cuba and some things. Is it finally happening? Is something happening, or is it like more of the same?
Well, I am a realist, unfortunately, and maybe I'm like Saint Thomas. Show me the holes in your hand and let me put my finger in it, and then I will believe.
A skeptic, yes.
So and then later, of course, he had the opportunity to do it, and then he believed. So I'm open to accept wherever comes. But after 64 years of sitting here in exile and listening to the songs, which are pretty much the same.
Ya viene
There's
llegando.
some variety, maybe some different notes, but I'm taking a wait and see attitude. Now, it is very timely that I come to your podcast, because my novel, which
good segue,
which is called The Five Seekers, has a lot to do with the situation in Cuba.
Yes.
And the main plot is that Cuba is not free for the last 60 some years because Cuba has nothing to offer to the United States, namely oil.
There's no Strait of Hormuz in Cuba.
And this particular theory of mine, which is obviously followed by the protagonist of my novel, because I wrote it, pretty much is what's happening.
I think so.
In what's happening. So my book actually is very timely right now, even though I wrote it and I published it in 2024, 2 years ago. I'm not a clairvoyant.
You're a prophet.
But or a prophet, but the situation is that right after the main plot, if you want me to go cover that now.
Yeah. So we haven't even touched on what this is about the Pedro Pan experience, largely, right?
Yeah, it is partly about the Pedro Pan. After the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961. And the debacle that was, and everybody knows, I'm not going to get into details. Castro gets a lot stronger, so the word was out that he was going to take over all the kids away from their parents. So the parents panic, and then they come up with the CIA and the Catholic Church and a Protestant school in Havana. They come up with a plan for parents to send their kids to the United States unaccompanied. Right. In the program, they call it Pedro Pan. Of course, trying to think of Peter Pan, but Pedro Pan. And 14,000 plus kids came over. My wife was, even though she didn't come with that program, she came at the same time by herself in 1961. I came in 1962 with my parents, but a lot of people that I know. So why am I writing this? Well, I have a lot of respect for the people, the kids of Pedro Pan, but I have even more respect for the parents. As a parent and a grandparent, imagine sending your kid, boom, by yourself to a country that you don't know, people, you don't have anybody, no relatives, and then, it takes a lot of guts.
The ultimate
the
sacrifice.
Desperation in these people's mind, imagine the anguish that they have to go through. So I respect them a lot. So I wanted to emphasize that. So then the kids come, and I take the story with 5 of them, two girls and 3 boys.
At this point, this is fictional, right? So you're taking historical facts, but then applying a fictional element.
You got it. I'm looking at what really happened
right.
to some of the people, and I am personifying them in my characters, which are fictional, of course, in a way. So then they come here, and then they send to an orphanage in Colorado, and they go through a lot of trouble. They become, like many of the people that came Pedro Pan, very successful, very educated, very smart,
very driven.
And then they become adults, and then they come up with the idea as to what can we do to bring freedom back to Cuba. And then 2 of them were scientists, and they come up with the idea that Cuba must have oil, and we're going to find it. So they do go through the process of actually finding oil in Cuba, and through a lot of spying, a lot of infiltration in Cuba, and what have you. And then they present those findings to the United States government during the Reagan years.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Reagan at the time was involved in the Contra affair, and he had to put it on the back burner. And then all this effort from these 5 individuals sort of goes nowhere. And they sit there, like it's happened 1,000 times, waiting for something else to happen in the future. Right. So the book ends with that disappointment. And obviously I did it that way to open up for a sequel. which
The sequel
you know,
seems to be happening
maybe
already in real life.
So that's the gist of the book. But it has everything. It has romance.
I love
and
it.
it has danger. It has, like I said before, infiltration. It has a lot of history about Cuba, about the United States and the relationship between them. Talks about the Bay of Pigs. Talks about a number of things. The last editor that I had, because as you know, you have to have several editors. The last editor was a young lady from Atlanta, an African-American young lady, maybe in her 30s. And after she finished, did a wonderful job. After she finished, she wrote me an email and says, I love your book. I love working on it. But what I love the most is that I learned so much history that I didn't know. And I thank you for that. So that made my heart full, because that's who I was thinking of when I was writing the book. To people, young people, both American and Cuban Americans or any other Hispanic, that have no idea what actually happened. And this book will give them the idea.
And entertain them along the way.
And if you're dealing with what's happening today, this book will give you the base to analyze what's happening today.
Absolutely. Look at Venezuela and Iran. Why are we in conflict with these two countries? Do they both have some oil?
Oh yeah. Let me think.
So
yes,
I think you're absolutely right. If Cuba had oil, we would not be in the same situation with them we are today. That would have been taken care of a long time ago.
Cuba has other things, but not that.
Yeah. We have sugarcane here. We don't need theirs. And
so,
I don't know what else they have. But so I think that's fascinating. I've always been fascinated by the Pedro Pan legacy. It is such a fascinating story in multiple ways. Not only the children and what they went through and what they became, but the parents and the sacrifice. The people who took them in here, my wife's family, took in a bunch of Pedro Pan kids. They're American gringos. And so and you could take it from a policy level, from the Catholic Church's involvement, which now all the funding to support those programs have been taken from the Archdiocese here locally. So there's so much of what's happening today that absolutely ties into your book. I think it would be a great thing to read right now.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope many of your people watching will. It's available in Amazon.
Okay. Yeah, so, and I can even see that. I believe it would be a great movie. I've always thought there ought to be a movie about Pedro Pan. And this is a great way of telling that story, because I love the underlying kind of black gold oil as an incentive for U.S. intervention. I like that wrinkle.
Well,
that's good.
I agree. I agree with you. But if I had a hard time finding an agent to have this published through a traditional publishing house and not self-published, imagine.
You never know. There could be a producer watching this episode today, and he's like, hey, I think that would make a great story.
You have to have somebody to help you.
Claro.
Somebody that has the connections.
Absolutely.
And other than that, it's not going to happen. I am in the process of getting a cinematic video on the book. It's being worked on now, about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Just to promote it, which gives the viewer the idea of what the book is. I mean, I have done so many things to promote the...
Which you have to, right? I think we talked about that before we started here, but it's not enough to write a book these days. No. You have to publish it, which is not easy. Whether you self-publish or get a traditional publisher is not easy.
Very difficult.
And then even then, you're expected to do all the work in marketing it and promoting it and selling it. You have to be like a business unto yourself. And you have that background, which I'm sure is helpful.
And also expensive.
Yes.
But I have done a lot of presentations in different groups, different clubs. I live in an area called Century Village.
Yes.
In Pembroke Pines. And there's a lot of clubs in there.
Okay.
And I have the opportunity to do, there's about 30 or 40 of those clubs. I had the opportunity to do like 5 or 6 of them and present it. I have... Anywhere that I have a chance to talk about the book, when you asked me to do it, I said, I didn't hesitate. Right. Anything that to promote it, and like you say, you never know who's watching, right?
What's been your most successful strategy for promoting or selling the book? I'm trying to learn here
Yeah,
for my own purposes.
there are obviously, I would say that even though I have sold, or I have been able to sell probably about 500 books. I don't think I have one strategy that they say did 250.
Right.
I presented it at the Miami Book Fair last November, and I think I sold in the presentation 20 books, approximately 20 books. The Miami Book Fair, I had the opportunity to be the first person presenting books in the Freedom Tower after they remodeled it.
Oh, that must
I
have
was
been
the
special.
first author to present there.
That's
Of course, that was in the morning. It was like 9:30 in the morning, and there was very few people in the book fair. But anyway,
But you get to say that you were the first, and I think that's great.
You can't
Obviously,
have
that's
it
a
all.
very special building for
You
Cuba.
can have it all.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful what they have done with
Yes,
that building.
yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
it's just absolutely beautiful.
So it's called the Five Seekers. I'm surprised you didn't go with Eight Seekers, by the way. So are all five kind of a part of you? Like,
Yes.
is part of your personality in each of those five?
I think so. Yes, and the two girls. One is a Afro-Cuban. Her mother was white, and her father was black, and she's beautiful. She's got the looks of her mother, and sort of a very distinct color of skin, and she has blue eyes. And she becomes really the number one protagonist. She becomes a spy, a double spy, and for Cuba and for the United States. And she's the one that infiltrates in Cuba to try to arrange for sabotage of the radars in the coast, so the boat with the other people could go and do the experiment to find the oil. The other girl is a Chinese girl that is a Navy officer, becomes a Navy officer and works for the Pentagon. And she is able to, from the radars, she's able to sort of look over that operation to make sure everything is okay. The one of the boys works for the State Department. Is a very smart guy, and his mother was American. So he's the only one that speaks English when they come from Cuba. The other guy is a scientist, a geologist. And finally, the youngest of the group becomes a oil expert, oil exploration expert, and he's also a tennis player, and he's a sort of a ladies' man. And
Okay, that's the one that's most like you.
No, I wish. No. So then that's that's how they relate. There's two that are married. Three that are married and two that are single. The principal girl and the last guy are single, and then there's a romance established with them at a certain point.
You always have to have a little romance.
Yes, in the book. So
the only thing missing was a wedding singer banker. The only thing missing was a wedding singing banker. That's for part 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of part 2, so anybody who starts writing gets the bug and is always working on their next book, at least in their head. Are you working towards something else?
Yes, I already finished my second novel, and I learned from my first novel. What I learned was that if you look at the statistics, you see that who buys novels, and demographically, more than 80% are women.
Yep.
And what kind of novels do they buy? Mostly romance, crime, fantasy. Very few are interested in historical novels like this.
Right.
So then you look at the other side is the the agent, the literary agent. The system is such that
Right.
you and I, as authors, cannot go to the publishing house and present to them. No, they won't talk to you.
You need a middleman.
They have to go to the middle person.
Yeah.
Middle person, because
Thank you for the correction.
90%
Yes.
are women
This is true.
of the agents.
Yep.
So I contacted 300 agents
Mm-hmm.
for my novel, and most of them don't answer back. And I think I have like 20, 30 no's responses.
Wow.
So I figured it would be that not only the topic is controversial because it's anti-communist, if you will, it doesn't take political sides, but if you read it, you find out that, it's sort of a conservative approach to things, anti-communist and what have you. So I said, wait a minute, when I'm writing the second novel, I'm not doing any of that. So I wrote a novel which is romance, crime.
Okay.
And the crime happens to be a white-collar crime in banking.
That's great.
And it's money laundering.
Good.
Crime. So because I've experienced a lot in that area.
Like I said, being a banker in Miami during the 80s and 90s, you probably observed a thing or two.
Yes, more than once. My wife, who is my, shall we say, not editor, but she is the person that reads everything that I publish, and she is like the censor.
Yeah.
You can't put this, you can't put that. So she was reading the new novel, and she says, "You're teaching people how to launder money." And I said, "No, I'm not teaching everything. Everybody
point,
knows.
it's been on
Everybody
YouTube.
knows I was done."
There you go, folks. If you're interested in learning how to launder money, read
Well, it's not.
Dr. Ochoa's next book.
It's not published. It's
Do you have the
called-
title yet?
Yes, Hazardous Friendship.
Hazardous Friendship.
Because
Love
there's two guys that are friends from when they were boys.
Mm-hmm.
One is good and the other one is bad.
it. Gotta have the yin yang. I love
Okay,
it.
and then when they grow up, the bad one gets into this crime thing, and then involves the other one,
That's great.
and they both get caught by a very. It was a sort of a romantic triangle between them, and they get caught, and they're gonna go to jail. The bad one,
Hey, don't give away the ending.
no, the bad one goes and disappears,
Okay.
and the good one serves for 10 years,
Wow.
and he writes the book from jail.
From his perspective. I love it. So we'll have to have you back on once that one's published
Yes.
to speak more in depth on that. Dr. Ochoa, unfortunately, this is all the time we have.
Okay.
We could have talked for hours given all your many lives.
Thank you.
Las ocho vidas de Dr. Ochoa. But I love what you've written. I love everything about you. I think you're a fascinating guy, and I want to thank you for appearing on the program. Oh, before I forget, if people want to learn more about you or purchase a book, where should they go? I know the book's available on Amazon. Do you have a website as well?
I don't have a website.
Okay.
I have several YouTube channels,
Okay.
and I am in LinkedIn, and I'm also on Instagram.
Perfect. So
there's
look
a
for
lot.
Dr. Rolando Ochoa.
Yeah.
They should be able to find.
Or simply Rolando Ochoa. Ochoa. If you're going to go to Amazon, you have to put the M, Rolando M. Ochoa,
Okay.
because there's a Rolando Ochoa who is an accordion player in South America, very famous. And if you put Rolando Ochoa, you get his idea. And I don't even come up.
There you go. You can buy his book on learning to be an accordion player. I guess
Yes.
it sounds fascinating. Sir, thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for telling the story of Pedro Pan. I think more people need to know about it. I know we know about it here in Miami, but it deserves a wider audience. It really is fascinating. I want to thank Miami's community newspapers for producing this program. Thank you, Enzoni, back there behind the screens. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in and following our little podcast. Please continue to do so. Like, subscribe, share, and check out some of our upcoming episodes. We have, a good 5 or 6 authors and other members of Miami's literary community lined up. In the meantime, Miami, keep reading, keep writing, and stay curious.